If you are a Jew or a Christian, have you ever considered how much our faith and the stories of Genesis all depend on the reliability of a man named Eber? We don't know much about Eber. He's just a name and a list of genealogies, and yet, even from what little info we're given, we can infer a whole lot of information about him, right? For starters, he names his son Peleg, and the Bible even takes its time to tell us why, because in those days the earth was divided. Divided how? Perhaps because he lived through the Tower of Babel story. He lived in the days when mankind's languages were confused and everyone was divided. This makes even more sense when you consider his very name, Eber, becomes the base for where the term Hebrews for the entire Hebrew language comes from. Descendants of Eber, the Hebrews. But we can go a little bit further than that by looking at Eber's name and his father's name, Arxfaxad, because both of those names translate to things that relate to travel and spreading around. And considering Eber is the ancestor to Abraham, who's also a far-traveling nomad, you can probably strongly infer that Eber and his family valued traveling, can't you? And they valued traveling in a time when everyone wasn't doing that. Everyone was staying in one big city. Everyone was collecting around Babel and Nimrod. And God had to confuse everyone's languages to break them apart. Eber was the only one who wasn't doing that. Probably. And Eber ends up being the only one who accurately preserves the stories of Adam and Eve, of Cain and Abel, of Noah and the flood. Everyone else gets corrupted versions of that in their nation's mythologies. But Eber, according to our faith, gave us the right one. And maybe the reason he gave the right one is because he's the one who wasn't living in the city. He's the one who was living with a family of nomads and not in a city that encourages corruption, wickedness, distortion. As people twist tales and fables living in a city to suit their entertainment, to suit their political ends, to suit what's convenient. But the people who live like nomads, we have to keep our stories accurate and true and spread around to everyone for the sake of survival. So yeah, something to think about with Eber.